Well, let's just take a moment to look ahead now to the new year, to 2019, and some of the big stories that may well dominate the headlines in the year to come. According to a new report by TRT World Research Centre, this is what they think that will dominate the stories in the new year. The trade war between the United States and China won't be far from the headlines. The talks are scheduled to take place between the two countries in January. This will be the first face-to-face meeting between leaders Xi Jinping and Donald Trump since they agreed to a 90-day pause on tariffs at the G20 summit in Argentina earlier this month. What else will dominate the new year? Well, the YPG's presence in Manbij and east of the Euphrates is one of the issues the researchers expect to dominate Turkey's foreign policy next year. And perhaps other issues include the ongoing fallout from the killing of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi. TRT's researchers say Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman may well keep his defense and economic duties, but lose some of his sway in foreign policy. Well, let's pick up some of these points now with Dr. Tarek Cherkaoui, the manager of the TRT World Research Centre. Let's start first on the trade war between China and the US. It has to be resolved because both sides really need a fix, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of the major issues that will dominate next year's agenda, definitely. There has been a call the past 2 days between Trump and the leadership in China, and they, basically they say that things are getting resolved. But I believe that there is more to the story. We have been searching all the modalities surrounding this conflict, and we see a big potential because we even foresee the start of a new Cold War between China and the United States. The markets are worried. We have seen a lot of movement in Wall Street. Some of it is largely negative. This is just the beginning. Why we see this as a start of a new Cold War is because there is a new ideological framing of the conflict. We have seen, for example, the speech of Mike Pence in the Hudson Institute back in October, in which he framed the situation very negatively. He called China on a very bad negative terms, and he promoted the model of Taiwan as the model to be for China.
Let's talk about Syria. Very brave to forecast what might happen in Syria in 2019, but you have. How do you see Syria in 2019?
Well, I think what we already have seen a lot of movements in the past few weeks. There is a lot of discussion between different state actors. We have seen Turkey trying to find a way with the American presence in Syria. They are also discussing with the Russians, the Iranians. What basically there is a big threat for Turkey, a national security threat that is omnipresent in the borders with the YPG. This threat needs to be dealt with. How it's going to be dealt with now is left to these discussions between the different forces, but it definitely is. It's going to be omnipresent in the news agenda.
The killing of the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Istanbul appalled the world. Will that simply disappear, or will that continue to colour diplomatic relations from Saudi Arabia and its foes and friends?
Well, we have seen the Saudis have been pumping a lot of money through strategic communication firms and lobbying groups. They want it to disappear, but it's not going to be disappearing anytime soon. This is what they wish for. Actually, what we are going to witness in the first weeks of January is a big movement against the Saudis, both in Senate and Congress. We have a new Congress now with the Democrats. We have seen a lot of coverage in Washington Post, in New York Times, in Politico, and other major media outlets in the United States, and it doesn't give any good forecast for MBS. Actually, we have seen also the US moving and appointing a new ambassador in Saudi Arabia. For 3 years, almost 3 years, there was no ambassador in Riyadh, and MBS could play whatever tunes he wanted to play. But now things will be different. We have seen also movement against his presence in Yemen. We have seen now calls for internationalization of the conflict from Turkey. There is a big movement worldwide, both from media, both from NGOs, other people who are calling for the accountability on this case.
We'll wait and see what 2019 holds.
Indeed.
For the moment, thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you.